This is the Steve Spagnuolo Show, exclusively on 101 ESPN.
Steve Spagnuolo joining us. And, Steve, you got some bad news regarding Marc Bulger today.
Yeah.
Out 3-6, and if you do the math, I guess it's at least possible at this point he could be done for the year.
Could be. We're hoping that's not the case. And, you know, everybody heals a little bit differently. It's not an injury that's going to require surgery. He's just got to stay off it for a while. And, you know, there's that window there. So Marc's been a pretty quick healer, so we'll think positive, and hopefully it's on the 3-week side, not the 6.
Kyle steps in as the starter. Keith Null's workload, I guess, gets accelerated a little bit. He becomes the backup. Will you guys consider bringing in another quarterback?
Not at this particular point. We'll see where Marc let's find out exactly where he's at. You know, it was a little bit of a shock. I mean, but it's part of the NFL. It happens. And Marc's great. He's a tough guy, so if there's a guy that can bounce back from it, he can. But Kyle will step right in just like he did earlier in the year, and Keith will be the backup. And the third quarterback right now, we'll just think about what we have to do there.
Okay.
When did it happen? Did you ask Marc?
You know, he's not sure. Now, I haven't had a chance to. We had so many things going on today, and he had enough other injuries. He had the head going on and the groin hamstring area, and then he said he felt something this morning in his knee, you know, and he said he thought he needed to get a picture of it, so he did. And then since it has been read as a positive read, I have not talked to him since. I tried to get him on the phone, but I couldn't get him here tonight.
He's probably glowing from all the radiation.
Yeah, that's a good point, DeMarco. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. Part of the business.
Stay away from cell phones for a while, man.
Yeah.
Thought yesterday's game was really a tale of two halves. First one, not really your best half of football by far.
No, I did think I thought the first quarter we came out and did some things. I mean, when you can play Arizona in the offense that they have and stop to give them the punt the first 2 times, that's positive. Now we did turn the one into points because we got the turnover and we kicked the field goal. So, you know, that's not a bad way to start the game. You know, you come out 3 plays on defense, get a turnover, end up with 3 points, come back out on defense, stop them, but then somewhere in there in the end of the first quarter, that whole second quarter is I think where I thought it got away a little bit. And we did recover nicely. I thought they came out in the second half, and other than the first running play they had, we played a good half of football on defense and got ourselves back into the game. Couldn't do it at the end, and that's the end of that story.
Too many explosive plays on the ground for your
Always,
liking.
yeah. That more than anything has kept me up at night. That hurts more than anything. I mean, there's going to be mistakes. Hey, they're all human, but I have a hard time with the run plays, especially when, you know, we had some 8-man fronts called and they were still popping some seams. So we got to get that ironed out.
What was it on the in the rush defense? It seems like to me, rush defense is all about pride. Were guys getting moved out of their gaps? Is that what was going on up front?
Well, I can tell you this, DeMarco, there's no lack of pride there.
Yeah.
I believe in the guys that are out there playing their guts out. However, they're playing against some good people. I'm going to give their offensive line a little bit of credit. But you know how defensive football operates. And when you get a bunch of plays like that, it's not one player. It's not one specific. If it was one specific thing, we'd have corrected it a long time ago. It's usually a little thing here, a little thing there, a guy out of a gap, or somebody on the wrong side of a block, not fitting it properly. Or there was one scheme that was a little bit different, I'll be honest with you, and they just popped the scheme on us, and they got a couple extra yards. But that'll happen in the course of a game. We got some smart coaches in the NFL offensively that throw in a different scheme. But we just keep pounding away at it. It's the only thing you can do. We'll keep playing the 8-man fronts and hope we get one guy unblocked that's making a tackle.
On the positive side, Steven Jackson tops 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Very deserving, because this kid has run his rear end off.
No question.
All season long. I mean, we've seen this before, but to me, he's taken it to a new level this year.
Yeah. You see it every Sunday. We see it every day here in the building, and it's tremendously appreciated on our part, I know on my part, as a head coach. Not just the 1,000+ yards that he's gotten, but everything that comes along with it, which is all the leadership. And you know, we tend to in this business, when a running back gets 1,000 yards, to also credit the old line. But I don't want to forget about tight ends, fullbacks, wide receivers that are blocking downfield. So it is a whole offensive thing. And the guy handing the ball off's got to hand it to him too, right? So give it to the whole offense. It's a credit to all of them. But Steven, I tip my hat off to him. That's 5 straight years. That's him. That's an individual achieving something special.
Let's transition to Seattle. You've already played him once. Coming up Sunday, how much does that help in getting ready?
Well, it gives you a little bit of a jump. You always go back, you look at that game. It's not fun looking at that game right now, but what we're hoping is we're a different team than played in that opening game. We were younger, we weren't all together and all that, and I think we've come a long way. Now Seattle has too. They've gotten better, and they're doing some better things. They get a feel for their team too. So, it's an NFC West game. It's a game we get geared up for. I know the Seattle-St. Louis game is one that anybody that's played here, put a Rams helmet on, has been real important, and we'll approach it the same way. I know they struggled a little bit last week, but I still see them as a solid football team. They got good coaches. They got a good quarterback, and they play good defense. So you got a good quarterback, play good defense. You got a chance to give us some headaches. So we'll approach it the same way as we do every week.
We'll let you get back to your meeting.
Guys, I appreciate it.
Thanks,
All right.
Coach. All right,
Thank
now.
you, DeMarco.
See you, Steve.
All right, Steve.
Head coach Steve Spagnuolo joining us. You're listening to the Steve Spagnuolo Show on the St. Louis Rams Radio Network.